You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we review the third test between England and India from Headingley. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the match summary from the third test match at Headingley between England and India. India batted first and made 78 all out in their first innings. Rohit Sharma top scored with 19, James Anderson and Craig Overton took 3 wickets for England. England in reply, all out for 432, Joe Root top scoring with 121, Mohammad Shami took 4 wickets for India. India in their second innings, all out for 278. Cheshwar Pujara top scored with 91. And Ollie Robinson took 5 wickets for England. England won by an innings and 76 runs. And the man of the match was Ollie Robinson. What were the key moments and key factors from this third test between England and India? England's bowling in the first innings to dismiss India for 78. England's batting in the first innings to score 432, which saw England have a lead of 354 runs in the first innings. England's bowling in the second innings to dismiss India for 278 saw them winning by an innings and 76 runs. Those were the key moments and key factors from this third test at Headingley. Let's have a look at both teams' performances in this third test match at Headingley. We'll start with England and their batsmen. Burns 61, Hamid 68, Malan 70, Root 121, Bairstow 29, Butler 7, and Ali 8. That's how the England batsmen performed in this third test match at Headingley. It was a much better batting display from England in this third test match. They batted magnificently. Yet again, Joe Root in the first innings scoring another century. The top order did well, all scoring 50s. It's the first time that England's top 4 have all scored 50s in the same test match. The last time they did this was back in 2013 against New Zealand. The last time it happened at home for England in a home test match was back in 2005 against Bangladesh. I thought Burns and Hamid, the opening partnership, set the tone for England's first innings quite well. They added 135 for the first wicket. That allowed Malan and Root to come in to score runs freely and set the tone for the innings for England. Malan and Root came in, added 139 for the third wicket, which saw England reach 432 in their first innings. So I thought England's batting in this test match, after the bowlers did well to dismiss India for 78, was very good. The one thing I will say about England's batting is that Bairstow, Butler, Ali missed out on a golden opportunity to score some runs in this test match for England. All of them are under pressure and they need to score some big runs. Didn't make the most of this golden opportunity. Bairstow made 29, Butler 7, Moeen Ali 8. So they definitely missed a golden opportunity to score big runs in this test match, whereas Burns, Hamid, Malan and Root scored big runs. Butler, Bairstow and Ali didn't score the runs. So they definitely missed a golden opportunity there to score some big runs. So overall, I thought England's batting was very good. The changes they made, bringing Hamid to open the batting with Burns, replacing him with Sibley was a good choice. Bringing Dawood Malan back in at number 3 was a good choice as well. So definitely it's a lot stronger top order for England than it was with Dom Sibley and Zach Crawley before. So good changes there that England have made to their batting. The challenge for England now and their batsmen is to back up this performance in the last 2 test matches of the series. All well and good to bat well in one test match, but they need to back it up for the rest of the series. That's the challenge with this England side, is their batting has been inconsistent. They've batted well here at Headingley, and it was a dominant batting display, but they need to back it up for the next test match at the Oval and for the last test match of the series at Old Trafford. So that will be the challenge for England's batsmen. But overall, the batting was very good. Let's have a look at the bowling and talk about their performance in this third test match. Root took no wickets. A wicket for Ali, 2 wickets for Sam Curran, 6 wickets for Overton, 7 wickets for Robinson, and 4 wickets for Anderson. That's how the England bowlers performed in this third test match. England's bowling in this third test match was fantastic. Their lines and lengths were relentless. They executed their plans well with the ball. The first innings bowling dismissing India for 78 was excellent bowling from England. Anderson was outstanding. He gets better with age, doesn't he? He's the GOAT. He's one of the best bowlers ever for England. Robinson bowled well in supporting Anderson. Craig Overton impressed with the ball. I was really impressed with him, taking 6 wickets in this match. Sam Curran and Moeen Ali did well in contributing to the bowling attack in the first innings, but the second innings bowling from England was even better than the first innings. India fought back well in the second innings. India were 2 for 215 at the start of day 4, with Pujara and Kohli at the crease. England were able to bowl them out for 278 on day 4 just before lunch. India crumbled under the pressure, which led to another batting collapse, which saw India lose 8 for 63 to be bowled out for 278. Once England got Pujara and Kohli out early, the rest crumbled under the pressure. Their lines and lengths were relentless, just like in the first innings. Robinson bowled well, taking 5 wickets and leading the way for England in this second innings. So England's bowling overall in this test match was very good. And Robinson's impressing me. I'm really impressed with him. He's being described by some people as England's equivalent to Josh Hazlewood from Australia. He's got that similar bowling style to Josh Hazlewood. So he's a very promising young talent for England. James Anderson doing what he does. He always performs at his best, James Anderson. He's the absolute GOAT. He's getting better with age. He's 39. He could play on until he's 40 and take over 700 test wickets. He's bowling that well. Craig Overton impressed me the most. I'm really impressed with him. He really impressed me. He was bowling superbly in this match. Now, Sam Curran was a bit disappointing, I should say. Only took 2 wickets in this match. Moeen Ali took 1 wicket, but really, it was mainly Anderson, Robinson and Overton who did most of the damage for England in this test match. So overall, their bowling was well. Their bowling was magnificent, as I said before, and a lot of good signs for their bowling going forward for the rest of the series. Overall, England will be pleased by this performance. They will be happy in the way they bounced back after a difficult defeat at Lord's. They have gotten back into this series, and they have a chance to win this series. Let's have a look at India's performance in this third test match with both bat and ball. We'll start with their batsmen. Rohit Sharma, 19 and 59. Rahul, 0 and 8. Pujara, 1 and 91. Kohli, 7 and 55. Rahane, 18 and 10. Pant, 2 and 1. And Jadeja, 4 and 30. That's how the Indian batsmen performed in this third test match. What can you say about India's batting in this test match? It was poor, it was disappointing, and it was quite a shock, actually. I wasn't expecting India to be bowled out for 78, but they did. They were bowled out for 78, I should say. I thought in the first innings they were lacking application with the bat. There was no fight. It looked a bit lackluster. The intent wasn't there to score. The batsmen crumbled under the pressure set by England's bowlers, who bowled relentless lines and lengths. Didn't really give India much to score in terms of hit-me balls and loose deliveries. It was pretty much good bowling from England. To be bowled out for 78 is a poor effort. I think the 78 all-out is worse than the 36 all-out against Australia in Adelaide. So to be bowled out for under 100 twice now for this Indian team, it does show that they are struggling in some areas of their batting. And there is some fragility with their batting there. So they really need to look at that going forward for the rest of the series. So the first innings was disappointing, but the second innings, I thought they showed a bit of fight and character, and it was a little bit better than the first innings. Cheshwar Pujara led the way for India in the second innings, career-defining innings from Pujara. He was under extreme pressure headed into this test match, but he showed that fight and determination that we associate with Pujara, scoring 91 in this second innings. If Pujara didn't score runs here, it would have been probably the end of his test career. So that's why I say it's a career-defining innings, because it is. He showed that fight and determination. We saw a new Pujara. He looked to score. He was a bit aggressive with his batting. His strike rate was up, which is unusual from Pujara, but he balanced attack with defence quite well. And I think if Pujara does that going forward, it does free him up a little bit. And we saw that in this second innings. He looked a bit freer. He didn't look as tense. He wasn't, struggling at the crease. He was moving freely. He got the rhythm back of batting, so that's good for Pujara. And this innings will give him a lot of confidence going forward for the rest of the series. So I thought he led the way well for India in the second innings. I thought Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli batted well as well. Rohit Sharma, good half century there. He was a bit unlucky to get out LBW with that umpire's call, just clipping the stumps there. He was a bit unlucky there. Virat Kohli batted okay for his 55. Not quite at his best yet, Virat, but it's good to see him score a half century. Hopefully he can score some runs for the last 2 test matches of this series. Also, India had some good partnerships in this second innings. 82 for the second wicket between Pujara and Rohit Sharma. 99 for the third wicket between Pujara and Kohli. So those two were very good partnerships there. But it didn't last long from India. Had another batting collapse in the second innings. India were 2 for 215 at the start of day 4 with Pujara and Kohli at the crease. If they stayed in, India could have batted on for a long time to try and save this test match. That wasn't to be. Pujara and Kohli went early. India suffered another batting collapse. They lost 8 for 63 to be bowled out for 278 just before lunch on day 4. India crumbled under the pressure set by England's bowlers, and it was a matter of time that they were going to be bowled out and lose this test match. And it eventually happened, and it pretty much summed up India's batting in this test match. They struggled, they crumbled under the pressure, they couldn't handle the pressure, and England bowled superbly. So there's a lot of areas for India to improve on with their batting going forward for the rest of the series. So the batsmen really need to look at those areas to improve on and hopefully make those changes and improvements heading into the 4th test match at the Oval and the 5th test match at Old Trafford to wrap up the series. Overall, it was a poor performance from India's batsmen. They need to do better if they want to try and win this series. Let's talk about their bowling performance and have a look at their bowlers quickly in this 3rd test match. Jadeja took 2 wickets, 4 to Shami, 0 to Ishant Sharma, 2 to Bumrah and 2 to Siraj. That's how the Indian bowlers bowled in this 3rd test match. I thought India's bowling was poor in this test match. It reminded me just like the WTC final against New Zealand. They didn't bowl at their best. Their lines and lengths were inconsistent, but they did well to take all 10 wickets. They did find a way to take 10 wickets and dismiss England out in their first innings, even though they conceded a lot of runs. But they did find a way to take 10 wickets, which was a good thing from the Indian bowlers to try and fight and take wickets. That's what they did well there, but the rest of the bowling performance wasn't quite at their best. The bowlers weren't at their best, and it summed up India's performance in this test match. Poor with the ball and poor with the bat. The bowlers need to get back to their best for the next 2 test matches for India going forward. If India want to win this series, they need the bowlers back and firing again, because this performance here at Headingley, it wasn't their best performance, and it was just like the WTC final all over again for India's bowlers. Overall, India will be disappointed by their performance in this 3rd test match. Not up to their high standards with both bat and ball, and they will be looking to improve and get back to winning ways ahead of the 4th test. Let's preview the 4th test of the series between England and India from the Oval, talk about the potential 11s for both teams, and who's going to win this 4th test. Let's have a look at both teams' record in test matches at the Oval. The first test match played between England and India here at the Oval was back in 1936. They've played 13 matches, 7 of them have been draws. England have won 5 and India have won 1. Let's have a look at both teams' potential 11s for the 4th test match. We'll start with England. Burns, Hamid, Malan, Root, Bairstow, Butler, Ali, Sam Curran, Wood, Overton, Robinson and Anderson. I think England may make one change to their 11 for the 4th test match at the Oval. Sam Curran didn't really have a great test match in this 3rd test match, so if Mark Wood's fit from his shoulder injury, he may come back to replace Sam Curran. So I think that could be the only change that England make heading into this 4th test match. That could be England's potential 11 for the 4th test. Let's have a look at India's potential 11 for the 4th test. Rohit Sharma, Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Agarwal, Pant, Jadeja, Ashwin, Shami, Bumrah and Siraj. I think India will make 2 changes to their 11 for the 4th test at the Oval. Ajinkya Rahane is out of form. I think India may drop him for this 4th test match. India need to make a change because Rahane hasn't been performing and scoring the runs. So I think Agarwal may come in to replace him. The other change they could make is bringing in Ravi Ashwin for Ishant Sharma. Ishant Sharma wasn't quite at his best in this third test match. So India's strength is the two spinners. So Ashwin to come in for Ishant Sharma. Also with Ashwin in the side, it does strengthen the batting a bit, especially with the tail-enders, and also gives Virat Kohli another option with the ball. So I think Ashwin to come in for Ishant Sharma. That could be India's potential 11 for the fourth test. Who's going to win this fourth test at the Oval? I think England will win the fourth test at the Oval. This win here at Headingley has shown all of us what England are capable of when they get everything together with both bat and ball. But don't discount India. They will bounce back and look to get back into this series. What can we expect from both teams heading into the fourth test at the Oval? England will be looking to continue this winning momentum heading into this fourth test match. The challenge for England is not to get complacent. They will know this Indian team will bounce back and will have to be at their best again to beat this Indian side. India will be looking at the areas to improve on with both bat and ball from this third test match heading into the fourth test. But as we know with this Indian side, they will fight and not give up. What a win by England. They dominated from start to finish in this test match and completely outplayed India. With the series now at 1-1, it makes for an exciting finish to this 5-match series. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.